Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars.
SoundCartel.
Bob Beaumont has built Beaumont Tiles into a $250 million a year juggernaut. No company can get that big without an effective sales strategy underpinning the success. But get this, Bob says he doesn't believe in selling. From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Bob Beaumont's been around long enough to know what works and what doesn't work in business. And when it comes to selling, he has a treasure trove of tips he'd like to share. But as he tells Heather Dawson, don't call it selling.
Selling to me smacks of manipulation, of getting a person to do something that they don't want to do. Now, I don't want to do that. I want people to want to buy because I want them to buy again and again and again. So I don't believe in selling because I believe in helping people to buy. And that might seem like a fine line, but it is different. You help people to buy. They feel good about being helped to buy because the decision was theirs. And they feel good and they come back.
But if you take that sort of friendly, no-pressure approach to selling, some salespeople would complain that they just can't close a sale like that. So what do you say to them, Bob?
That's so true. As a matter of fact, I had one of our franchisees say exactly that to me. She said, Bob, I just can't bring myself to close the sale, to ask that question. And I said, that's easy. Don't do it. Don't ask for the sale. All you do is to assume the sale. You figuratively put your arm around their shoulder and gently walk with them towards the inevitable action. And then you don't even ask the question, you just assume they're going to buy and you start putting it through. And very often people will feel so grateful because they didn't want a conflict, they didn't want a negotiation thing, they just wanted to buy what you've got to offer. Now, some people love the negotiation thing, so that's when you have to take off the gloves and go through the whole pantomime of negotiation. And it's a game to some people and they love it, so we can love it straight back at them.
You've spoken about the brick wall between buyer and seller, and I guess that's what you're talking about, is it?
Yeah, it is. I've always told our staff when I've been training them in showroom selling that every person who comes in the front door well, I guess there are those who walk straight up at the counter because they know what they want. But most people who walk into the front door of a store, they're carrying this big, invisible brick wall. And they walk in, they're carrying this dirty, great big wall with them. And I can prove that because, you get these sales psychologists who say, yes, people go to the left or go to the right when they walk in the front door of a store. It's rubbish. People walk away from the counter. Whatever is the furthest distance from the counter, that's where they're going to walk first. So that's because they're carrying this brick wall. So when I'm instructing my sales staff and giving them training, I say, so what are we going to do about that brick wall? And inevitably, because I say it like that, they say, oh, we're going to tear it down. I say, no, we're not going to tear it down. We're going to gently walk around the brick wall and stand on their side of it. Then they'll realise there's no point in having a brick wall and throw it away. And we can then establish a micro-friendship with that person. And a micro-friendship is not the sort of friendship where somebody's going to invite you around for a barbecue, but a micro-friendship is something where you might see them down the supermarket the next week and they say, oh, hi, the tiles look great, and they'll go on. But a micro-friendship is something where you develop a respect and a rapport with somebody temporarily.
OK, Bob, well, talk us through the ideal sales scenario when a customer walks into a Beaumont Tiles store then.
Well, ideally, they haven't got any preconceived notions of what they definitely want because very often that's wrong. But if they can come in wanting expert attention and allowing us to give that expert attention, that expert advice, and working with them to create something which is just gorgeous. That's our ideal. We just love people walking out feeling good. I often say, when I used to do a lot of selling in showrooms years back, at the end of a sale, I would quite often have women in tears, in relief. At the end of it, they say, "Oh, I haven't slept for 3 nights and I've been so worried about this, and this is just going to look so good, so I'm so grateful." And the next day they'll come back with a box of chocolates or a bottle of wine or something. It's remarkable how people get so fearful of this decision and how grateful they are when you've been able to solve that for them. It gives you such a good feeling.
What if the customer's dead set on getting the cheapest price?
Well, I quite often find that people will walk into a store. This is not talking about trade or builders or anything at the moment, but a person will walk into a store and they start talking price straight away. And you know why they do that? They do that because they know more about money than they do about tiles. And they don't want to look foolish, so they start talking about what they know best. So what I tell my people is, look, at some point we'll have that conversation. So just say to the customer, look, it really depends on what you buy and how much you buy and the package that you put together, whether it includes bathroom wear or not bathroom wear. So it really depends on what you end up choosing. So would you mind if we just set aside that conversation for a little while? We'll figure out what you need and then we'll come back and sharpen up our pencils and give you a great price. How's that sound? And that sets people at ease.
Yeah. When it comes to business selling, Bob, you say establish the price and then murder them with service. What kind of service are you talking about?
Well, I guess, firstly, that can be done with some business to business, but not all business to business. With our business with residential builders, for example, they might put their supply up for grabs every couple of years. And so you've got to really sharpen your pencil. You've got to really come up with what they need, either on price or other things that they need at that time. But once they've actually agreed, then you absolutely kill them with service. You make sure that everything goes right. If something does go wrong, you try and catch it before they even know about it. But if they do know about it, you overreact to give them great service. And then when comes next time for them to put their business up for grabs, sometimes they won't even do that. They'll just say, "Oh, we can't imagine going anywhere else. We'll just give you the business again at the same rate." Or they might say, "Yeah, well, you can have last right of refusal," those sort of things. So it's really important for future business, but it's also good, I guess, emotionally to be able to give fantastic service. And when they have a vote through all of their supervisors and building managers and so on as to the best supplier, and you win that, that's a great feeling.
You said it's important to have more than just a once a year sort of catch up with clients, when it's time to resign the contract or whatever. So where do some businesses get it wrong there?
Well, most businesses actually get it wrong. Think about businesses who you buy a fair bit from and you buy it on a regular basis. How often do they come to you and sit down and say, "Look, we would like to do a review of our service to you, warts and all, to make sure that we're doing everything you need us to do, and any mistakes that we're making, we want them pointed out so that we can correct those. And if there's anything that you can do to make the whole process more efficient for yourself, then we'll point them out to you. But it'll be a warts and all review." How often does a supplier do that? Almost never. Almost never. But wouldn't it be good if they did?
All right. Any final words on the art of selling the Bob Beaumont way?
Look, I think there are some areas of selling which is very much, quote, tender type business. And the art of selling doesn't come into it as much. But somebody gave me some good advice. They said, we never bother to put in a tender for anything because we know we're going to lose it. So why worry about spending all of that time on putting in tenders? We just wait for everybody else to put in the tender, and then we develop a relationship with the purchaser, and we find out what we need to beat, and we beat it. I thought, now that's actually quite clever.
That was CEO and Executive Chairman of Beaumont Tiles, Bob Beaumont. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow at BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.